This is ReplicantPhish. Welcome back. Glad you could join me again. So today I want to explore the ambiguous vagueness of women. Now it is very easy to say that women are and act very vague and ambiguous, but before we carry on, let's define the word ambiguous. As Google says, open to more than one interpretation, not having one obvious meaning, not clear or decided. And then a further meaning of an ambiguous situation from the website sciencedirect.com. An ambiguous situation or problem is one that invites multiple interpretations. There is a lack of clarity about what it really is. Ambiguity has often been lumped together or even conflated with uncertainty. Ambiguity, conceived as a subjective phenomenon, has similarities with the experience of uncertainty. So in some way, can we say that women do act very ambiguous with what they mean and what they want and what they say? As in the title of today's video, why women don't say what they really want. It's a sense of saying one thing when she really means another thing, something else entirely, or the opposite. So let's begin with the point that women are highly suggestible. Now, to understand the vague, ambiguous nature of some women is to first understand why many women don't like to make full, whole, complete statements or make you aware of things fully, in the sense that they want you to guess or to figure them out without them telling you. And part of the reason for this, as I have noticed, is because in certain situations it's not very difficult to change a woman's mind. As in, some women are open to many things. It's a sense of, if you can convince her, if that makes sense, that it makes sense to her, that it's beneficial for her in some way, if that makes sense. Okay, look at it like this. We understand the government gives women things that they want, thus women are very compliant to them, and in understanding women's compliance and their ambiguous, vague nature with many things, you can then push certain things to women by making them believe it's beneficial to them and everyone else. But if you can clearly convey the benefit to them, then they can easily accept it. What I'm saying is, there are many agendas that they can push through women by giving them what they want, and because of our desire for women as men, some of us would just go along with the show. Because in a sense, it is easier to convince women than us as men. Some would say and think women are very difficult to convince or make do certain things or make them do certain things. Not really. Not if you understand to show them the benefit of them doing this thing, what they would get. For instance, money is an easy one. That's the easy, obvious one. It's more a sense of being able to convince a woman to do almost anything based on the supposed benefit she will get from doing it. So in many ways, it's because of women's ambiguous nature why they prefer us as men to make the first move. In a sense, to not have the blame or, let's say, the responsibility on them, which goes on to my next point. The blame falls on you. And I've made this point before, it's not the blame as in everything, just the bad. It's the blame as in all the moves being made is on you. In a sense, she is open to suggestions. It just depends if you understand the sequence to get what you want and get an entrance to the suggestion you want to get into. So this as well, along with the fear of rejection and anxiety about certain things. For many women, for most women, it's better for them for you as a man to make the first move, so that you're the one that can be rejected if anyone is going to be rejected. As some of you had said to my previous video yesterday, that women want the ability to reject you. Even if they don't want you, they like to know that you want them, just so they have the power to reject you. Some of them anyway. Some. Seriously. So for some, it's a case of you taking the responsibility for all the moves made. You make many of the first moves. You may suggest places to take her on a date. The point is, for many women, they like when things are up in the air. Things aren't locked down so that they can change and adapt to any situation they may need to. This is why it's very easy for women to be sexually ambiguous as well. to be with a man or a woman. Also falls in line with women saying they like spontaneity. And that is because women are very suggestible. And this is why many men do get confused when women say they want one thing when really they want something else. Because the point is for many of them to be vague, to let you work for certain things you may want from them, depending on what they want from you. They may want you to work a little harder. You know, she may want you to lay siege to her castle, but she may put up somewhat of a defense first, so you would work for it. And it's in these dating or relationship throes where many men get confused. Because as men, we like to define and lock certain things down to understand them, to rationalize them, to make them make sense. But what I've noticed is sometimes for women, they like many things being up in the air, many things being somewhat vague and ambiguous, to not lock things down fully. One could say it is the way they're wired with their emotions, how in a sense their emotions are always up in the air, thus a large part of their nature would be so ambiguous and vague, if that makes sense. So the point is, of course women would follow men when men do certain things, and want to find themselves in male spaces. It's the sort of chameleon thing women like to do, to adapt to a situation. Women do have this skill. This is also why it is very easy for them to move on from one man to another. To adapt from this man here to that man there, maybe completely different men. But being the good chameleon many women are, they can easily adapt. If the man has something they want, they become very malleable, highly suggestible, easily suggestible. Which goes on to my next point, gaslighting because she's a woman. Now gaslighting is something anyone can do, both men and women. But I believe there is a certain, let's say, type of gaslighting that's inherent to women alone, and it is the gaslighting ambiguity of women. The having you as a man wonder, what the hell's going on? Does she like me? Does she not like me? Is she attracted to me? Is she not attracted to me? What's going on here? Is she laughing at my jokes because I'm funny, or because she actually likes me? Those small things into deeper things is how deep many men fall trying to understand what it is this damned woman wants. And it is for men to understand, we as men do like to define things. Women like the ambiguity and the vagueness. In you trying to over-define the understanding of why she does what she does, you'll confuse yourself as a man using man logic to understand what game she's playing on you. Because she's playing a female game, a woman game. They're gaslighting you to make you think she's not interested, but in a sense is to test your interest, your devotion, your loyalty. In other words, to test or see how much you really want her. Do you see her as just another woman? Another notch on your bedpost, another score, another bust and move, bust and move. Seriously. Or do you see her as something more? Something to commit to, where she would want a commitment from you, not just some quick plumbing. But even beyond the dating, even when you're with the woman, they still gaslight the crap out of you as well. Not even the full-blown gaslight. It's more a sense of the gaslighting based on testing, or let's say seeing how you feel about her. In other words, it's the reassurance many of us as men give to women just by being with them, letting them know they have meaning, that they matter, that they look good. Even if they just got out of bed and they look like crap, they still look good. That constant reassurance, that motivation and boost many of us as men have given to women we've been with, if we've cared about them enough to motivate them. So it's the fact that many women gaslight you just to see. You see, because I understand in giving in to a woman is thus giving her my power. And I say nay, nay, the only thing I have at most is some pipe. And that's if I can even be bothered. Life is too short to keep guessing what the hell a woman wants. In other words, focus, observe, remember. The world is yours. Have a nice day.